Broke girls are trying to ban men going their own way.
I see so many women on TikTok. Of course, they're like liberal, complaining, like, oh my God, dating's so hard in the city. All men are trash. All men are garbage. Blah, blah. It's like, do you think if you've been dating and you're in your late 30s and every man has had an issue with you or not wanting you, do you think that at some point the common denominator might be you? Maybe you're the problem.
Broke girls are trying to ban men going their own way. What are the consequences of broke girls trying to ban men going their own way? Why are they trying to ban men going their own way? And how is this going to affect women into the future? Watch to the end of the video to find out the answers to these questions and how the implications of men going their own way is going to further affect women well into the far future. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the very first video.
This week on Morning Mika, the kids, and actually adults too, are not okay.
Percy?
Yeah?
Wait, your name's Percy?
Yeah?
Percy? Sorry, continue. Percy? Doesn't anyone anymore?
That was Jennifer Lawrence in a scene from No Hard Feelings, finding a bunch of teens and 20-somethings glued to their phones at a house party. It underscores a troubling reality right now. A growing number of younger Americans aren't dating. They're not hanging out. And no, they're not even hooking up. For so many women who want to date men, dating has become a total nightmare. And there are a number of reasons why. I'm Mika Brzezinski here with Simone Sanders Townsend, Huma Abedin, and Jen Psaki. So I have heard from a lot of young women who want to date young men that there are none. There are no guys. They're trying to connect. They often use dating apps, but find a total lack of connection. And it seems that the men they are meeting don't really share the same priorities.
Don't get dating nowadays. This is the largest group of butthurt, bitter pen pals I've ever seen in my entire life. It's absurd. Like, you'll establish mutual interest with somebody, exchange numbers, and then you want to good morning me beautiful until my head is ready to explode. Like, I don't know about y'all, but my attention span is not something to play with. You've got 2 or 3 weeks of chit-chatting with me and FaceTiming before I expect you in person.
You see, here's what's happened. Men are no longer connecting. Men are no longer actually showing up in person. Men are like, yeah, we could talk online, bro. We could talk through Messenger, but that's about it. All right. The guy spends a long time feeling the girl out, and if he doesn't like what he's feeling, he's just not going to show up. In fact, a lot of guys are just fine with just the talking phase. They're like, oh yeah, I'm talking to this girl. So where's it going? It's going well. You know, we've been talking for a couple of weeks. Have you gone out? Nope. What do you plan on going out? Who said anything about going out? Who said it? She says that, these are the most butthurt pen pals ever. But these men are not butthurt. She's the one who's butthurt. She's the one who's complaining. These guys are polite. These guys are sending her messages in the morning. The simps these are simps. They're being very nice and safe and careful with the things that they're saying to her. And they're also being, trying to ensure that they don't make her feel uncomfortable. And, maybe she won't be comfortable going out in person just yet. So, and of course, what she's trying to do is she wants to extract wealth and resources from them. So she wants to go out so that, they can take her out and spend hundreds of dollars on her, and she can begin the process of separating them from their money. But trying to get these men out on a date is like pulling teeth, and these guys are no longer going to take that step. We talk about the passport kings, men going overseas to meet women, and we say these are the high value men because these men have the money to go overseas, and they have the drive to go overseas and meet women in another country where most of the time they may not even speak the language. These are the high value men. Usually these are guys who are successful in their personal lives in terms of finances, business. These were the guys that women said they didn't want. So now these men are leaving, and the men that women have left behind are the men who are more than happy to stay at home, play video games, watch TV, and only work just enough to survive and thrive and no more. The guys that are still talking to women on dating apps, those are the simps. And that's and the quality of simps is beginning to get worse, because women are online saying men should never approach them and never approach a woman that you do not know in public. If you see a woman reading at a coffee shop, reading a book at a coffee shop or a bookstore, don't approach her when she's reading a book. In fact, don't really approach a woman at all. Just but still approach her. What? Guys, this is how they're talking, because they're all in their field. They process everything using feelings, not reason or facts. So you could say that, well, 2 + 2 = 4, and they're like, no, it equals 17, and you're like, 2 + 2 does not equal 17. But they're processing using feelings, so they're choosing whatever makes them feel good. So if 2 + 2 = 17 makes them feel good, that if that feels right to them, they're going to go with 17 because it feels right. That's what feels right to them. All right. And no matter what you say, their feelings will always beat facts in their minds. You can never ever convince a woman that her feelings are wrong until she concludes for herself that her feelings betrayed her, and now she's like scorched the earth, and now she's going to say, yeah, my feelings betrayed me. I have nothing. I've lost everything because I trusted my feelings. And then guess what? She'll continue to listen to her feelings because she's not able to rise above that. That's the reason why women need men to compliment them, because men think with facts, women think with feelings. Hence, grandma used to rely upon grandpa to do a lot of the heavy lifting in the relationship, because she knew that if she was the one making a lot of the decisions, she would end up choosing feelings and believing that that she's processing things using facts, when in reality she's processing things using feelings, and then things go wrong. So she would trust grandpa to make the decisions, and if there was something that she didn't like, then she would tell him, like, hey, this is what I think about this. But ultimately grandpa would make the ultimate decision, because men are good at processing things using facts over feelings, and we can see why that's absolutely important.
Like the 4.5 billion men on the planet. Trust me when I say there are thousands of people suitable for you. I think it might be you. You might be, if you cannot obtain a partner, you might be nuts. Also, I don't understand this thing, like, it's so hard to date in the city. I understand the challenges of the city. Where would you rather be? The cornfields, where there's 5 people to date? What, do you want to go to an Amish community? I'm so confused. In the city, you have literally the most amount of options. I don't understand. What's better? What's a better option?
Place that if the guy says, you know what, I want to take you out, we going out, let's go. And then he comes up with an option. What's an option that you say, nah, that ain't for me?
I mean, I don't do Applebee's and Chili's and Red Robin and places like that. But I'm going to definitely express that. And suggest
why? Why? Tell me why.
Because I feel like those places are just like sit down McDonald's. I don't think there's anything spectacular about the food. It's all stuff that they're just heating up in the microwave anyway. They aren't. You go back in the kitchen at Chili's and Applebee's, they're not cooking back there. They're heating up frozen food. I could do that at the house. So let's go somewhere where.
All right. So I just want to point out, since we're probably not going to get sponsored by any of these people now, I might as well just say you might be right, but like. Cheesecake Factory ain't no different. You just happen to like the Cheesecake Factory. So for you, it's a quality of food thing. What if it's not a budget issue per se? Then for you, it's a quality. So if there are a restaurant that costs just as much or just as little, you'd be okay with it. You just don't want to be in a chain restaurant.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's necessarily like a chain restaurant. I just, like you said, I want somewhere where where the quality of the food is gonna be good.
She wants to go to a steakhouse. Expensive steakhouse. We're gonna spend $300 or $400. That's what she's looking for. All right, and she's definitely gonna take food home with her. Guys, you have to be out of your minds to be in a relationship in 2024 in Western society. And even some women are beginning to realize, yeah, this is not it.
I find myself understanding heterosexual men. Let me explain. Exhibit A. I was on a first date with a girl who asked me out, by the way. This is relevant because when the check came, she never once made a move to pay. Not even like the fake, let me reach for my purse move. And though I don't mind paying on a date, part of me felt like, the offer would have been nice. I was also a little taken aback that she didn't even say thank you. And I never heard from her again. It really made me feel like she just asked me out so she could have a free dinner. And the moment I thought that, I was like, oh my God, I sound like all of my guy friends right now. And my argument against why guys should pay for dates has always been like, look, girls take hours to get ready. Our investment is looking really nice for you. Makeup, clothes, that costs money too. But we were both girls in this situation. We both took hours to get ready. One girl invited.
Yeah, guys. So she's a girl, and she always uses the same excuse, and then she goes out with a girl who's the one who asked her out, and then sat there and expected her to pay, and didn't even say thanks or appreciated nothing. You see the hypocrisy? And now it's like when women say, "Okay, well, I guess I can see where men are coming from on this." Okay, so now our experiences are suddenly validated, so so for this one thing we're allowed to say we're right. It's no wonder men are walking away from relationships in Western society and society enough itself and choosing to live separate lives from relationships and society. It's no wonder why men are going their own way. This is, guys, what are the consequences come 2030? 45% of all women between the ages of 25 and 44 will be childless and single. Those are terrible numbers. You're going to have a lot of women who are going to be going to be destitute. All right, they're not going to have men to take care of them. A lot of Gen X women are now aging rapidly. Like Gen X, in just a couple of months, the first of the Gen Xers are going to turn 60, and a lot of these women, they don't have anything for retirement. They have no money for retirement. They have no options. All right, the last of the baby boomers are going to turn 65 in 2029, and at 67. All baby boomers can get full Social Security. They're going to, guys, the Social Security is already estimated to run out in 2034. All right. It was previously projected at 2033. Then they said, oh, we made a bit more money this past year in tax revenue, so it's going to be 2034 now. It's always the date's always slipping, guys. It can even go down to 2032. The point is that come 2029, all right, come 2029, all baby boomers will be 65 and eligible for Social Security. And at just 2 years from that, 2031, all baby boomers will be able to file for Social Security and take at full benefits. All right, they'll be able to get the absolute maximum. So there's no reason why they would not do that. They would have to do it. It'd be crazy not to file for Social Security at that age, because then they're just losing money. There's no benefit to waiting any longer. They're all going to be draining that pot clean. There won't be anything left, and there'll only be partial. There will only be like partial payments, and the notion that boomers are like, okay, well then the feds are just going to have to replenish Social Security and just print tons of money out of nowhere. So how much money is it going to cost to replenish Social Security? This is actually a very interesting question. It's going to cost trillions and trillions of dollars. All right? There should be like $10 trillion in that Social Security fund. Somewhere between like $5 and $10 trillion. It's supposed to be a crazy amount of money in there. Okay? Crazy amount of money. I mean, just to pay for Social Security every year, it costs hundreds of billions of dollars. All right, so there's supposed to be like trillions of dollars, crazy trillions of dollars in Social Security, but they kept on borrowing from that fund. So for the government to afford Social Security, they're gonna have to replenish, so that people can get the money that they're owed every year. They're gonna have to be printing like at least hundreds of billions of dollars a year, just in borrowing in debt, just to pay full Social Security. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And if they wanted to replenish the funding, then they would have to print like $5 or $10 trillion. Okay, like it's crazy. It's and the U.S. is already unable to pay the interest on its debts. The boomers did this, and they're like, "Oh, it's not us. It's everyone else. It's the kids. It's you millennials. It's Gen X. We need to blame Gen X, bro. Keep Gen X out your mouth. All right. It's like, guys, they're rapidly ending up homeless. I mean, the future for women in Western society, a lot of them are going to end up in destitute states, living in shelters, because if they don't have men to subsidize their living, and they're not able to work for the rest of their lives, guys, 5 years from now, you're going to have what, 70 to 80% of women single in the United States. That's up to 70-80% of women single. All right, and men are no longer subsidizing their living, and the state does not have that kind of money. All they know how to do is shame, use sign language, shame, insult, guilt, and gaslighting as well, because they need to be right. They're not going to have anything. And MGTOW is just going to keep on growing as more men say they want to live separate lives from relationships and society. And the more they shame these men, the more they go after these men, the more these men are going to avoid them entirely, because they don't even know how to get men. They don't even know how to motivate men.
Think you realize how much your behavior is actually destroying your relationship. And the worst thing is that it's not your fault. But when you complain about everything your man is not doing, then it's you who becomes this person it's impossible to be with. By blaming him, you see yourself as a victim, as this poor woman who has to do everything herself. Because if you don't do it, he won't. For example, you want him to hang a lamp for you, and you've already asked him twice, and he still hasn't done it. And by now, you're in a bad mood about it. You start to complain to him about it, and then you tell him, "Oh, whatever, I'll just do it myself." But no man wants to do things when he already knows that you're in a bad mood about it. And that's how you slowly paralyze him. He doesn't want to make an effort for you. What a man actually needs to be motivated to do things is he needs to be appreciated. This is how you're going to ask him about the lamp. You're going to say, "Honey, tomorrow before we go to the movies, could you please hang that lamp for me? Because only you know how to do it right." And because men are goal-oriented and action-oriented, you now have given him subconsciously a little deadline. And tomorrow when you're at the movies, you're going to thank him. Because by you showing your appreciation, even for such a simple task, is exactly what he needs to be motivated to continue to do things for you.
Now notice she doesn't mention doing anything for him. All right, so this is just plain out manipulation. And even then, the average woman won't even be bothered to do this much. All right, she will not even be bothered to do this much. Think about that very carefully. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to our newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my ebook, The Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Broke girls are trying to ban men going their own way. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men Walking Away. And cheers.